and I was running online businesses. I'm in the back of the class and the teacher's screaming at me, and I just made $1,000. I was a CEO a year before I was an actual CEO. All right, so we're going to talk to U of H Entrepreneurs Club. And what's crazy is, this is the main part of U of H right here. And I actually used to come here like 2 to 3 years ago. And I was in this club, so it's crazy to be able to talk to these guys. University, it's like blowing up. So they have a really good business school, really good hospitality school. They, I think, almost like doubled their enrollment, which is crazy. So what I want to kind of do is just tell you briefly, just kind of like my background, my story, and then I want to kind of like, I don't want to talk about inspiration, I don't want to talk about motivation, because that's all great until you're motivated and you're pumped up and you leave and you don't know what the hell to do next. So I don't want you to leave and not know what to do next. I want you to leave with like a tangible plan that you can implement into what you guys are actually trying to do, what you guys are trying to accomplish, everything like that. And I'm very no BS, I'm very to the point. And I'm not going to sugarcoat things. I'm going to tell you exactly how it is, which I'd expect you guys to do the same back to me, right? So I think it's easier, and you learn, and you can implement things a lot quicker. And also, everything that I do say, I want to challenge you to challenge me, meaning that just because I say something and it might have worked for me, maybe it doesn't work for you, or maybe a portion of it does, and you need to pivot or adjust it. So everything that I say or someone else says that may or be good, apply it, like implement it quickly, and you can see how it works for you. You can pivot and adjust it, right? So to kind of give you a rundown of my background, from just outside of Houston, I was obsessed with sports. I used to be more bulked up, I swear. And I was like scrappy dual threat quarterback, and I went to play junior college football in Long Beach, California. First year I redshirted, and I immediately got into sales. I started slinging DirecTV and Walmarts for like a year and a half straight. And it made me, you get tough and you get really good at sales when you got to talk to 200 people that just want bread or just random stuff for their house, and I'm trying to sell them DirecTV. They don't want to talk to me, you know what I mean? So you learn how to be a really good salesperson. You learn how to communicate with all different types of people, all different backgrounds. Some people might have walked in there and won the lotto that day and they were happy. Other people may have just had a divorce. They may have just had something bad happen. They could have just gotten a wreck. Regardless, I still got to show up and deliver, right? And that's how kind of it is always in life. So that was my first experience getting out there and in some form. I guess that is kind of business. It's on a very small scale, but I learned. Anyways, I ended up transferring to New York for a better scholarship. Entire time through college, I was hustling, trying to make money online, trying to do anything I can to make money, and obviously selling DirecTV or whatever. But moved to New York, all right? But New York, the schedule was so difficult that I was literally having to go to school, however many hours that was, amount, you guys know just as much as me on that. And then football was just 24/7. So I had to start like an online business. It was something super small, but I was struggling with money. I was super, super broke. By the time I got to New York, I realized, look, I'm not, I'm probably going to get D2, D1 AA scholarships, but unless I am Drew Brees, I'm not going to league, because I'm a 6 foot, 5'11" guy. Like, it ain't going to happen. You know what I'm saying? And so I was dealing with the process of realizing that, look, this isn't happening. I'm now 22 years old. I'm in New York. I'm super broke. I lived in, to kind of give you a frame, so like if you see where this projector is, so from here to like probably right there and across, that's how big the dorm room is. And there's 2 bunk beds on each side right here, and then another bed right here. And we had about, it would rotate. Sometimes people would be on the floor, but it'd be like 5 to 6 people every single time. And I mean, we had a couple running backs. I had one like 6'8", huge, offensive lineman. They ended up playing D1 football. So we have all these big dudes in this tiny little small shoebox place, and it was a great experience, but super toxic. You're basically in an uncomfortable environment everywhere. You're walking a mile, carrying heavy clothes to go wash it. You're broke as hell. And kind of what happened is I realized, like, look, this isn't happening. And I was super stressed, but I kind of had an F it moment where I'm like, you know what? I'm done stressing about it. I'm done. And what I started doing is I always wanted to be an entrepreneur and I always wanted to be in business. But I was troubled because I knew what I wanted. I felt like I had the skill set to do it, but I wasn't in a vehicle to get me there, nor did I have any mentor or guidance to get there. My whole life, I longed for this mystical freaking mentor that just shows me the way and leads me to the promised land. Never got it, and I still haven't got it. And it may have been the best thing that ever happened to me because it forced me to, one, study the best people in the world, two, implement my own ideas, and lastly, most importantly, trust my own instincts. And you guys are all at U of H now for the most part. We've obviously gone through high school, we've gone through different things, and you have a lot of people pulling you in multiple different directions on where you should go. Your parents, teachers, professors, other students, people online, social media, they're all telling you to do a bunch of things. And you gotta have a strong backbone to really go, you know what, I'm gonna go this way, or I'm gonna do this, or I'm gonna do that. So, moved back to Houston. My plan, some of you guys was like, Houston, I have a good network here. I was the same way. I was kind of to the point where it's like, look, if I can come back to Houston, I got a network here. I won't have to, be super, super broke. Hopefully I can work. And I ended up moving back in with my mom. So I'm like, great, I'm gonna crash on my mom's couch for a year. I'm gonna save up. I was about to turn 23 that year in August. So I was 22 years old. I'm like, I'm gonna sleep on my mom's couch for a year. I'm gonna save money. And I'm gonna find a way to make it happen. My goal is I'm gonna find a way to go out and make six figures. That was my goal. And got to Houston. First thing I did is I started Ubering all across Houston. So I was driving up here and I was kind of remembering damn, 3.5 years ago, whatever it was, I was Ubering all around here. I'd leave class and go Uber. And so I'm Ubering all around Houston. I'm because they had instant cash. So the second you do it, it downloads right to your bank account, right? And so I'm doing that, and while I'm doing it, if I'm waiting for a ride, I was applying for sales jobs. The sales job I had this whole thing lined up in Houston, all right? And then I had U of H lined up because it's a good business school. I got into Bauer, and I thought a network, which I really didn't, but I thought I did, right? Because I had family here. So within a week period, one, I realized the thing that I had set up for completely just went through the hole. It just didn't work out whatsoever. Then the next thing, I go to U of H on that day, where you meet the counselor and they tell you who you're working with and they get you all excited. The counselor already knew my name. I'm like, why does this lady know my name? This makes no sense. Did I make someone mad? What'd I do? Come to find out, none of my credits transferred. So I was supposed to be a senior. She's like, well, Grant, you're a senior, but here you're a freshman. I'm like, what? She's like, there's an appeal process. You can maybe get up to maybe a sophomore, but this is just where we're at. So I'm like, dude, I'm freaking screwed. Not only am I about to turn 23, I'm sleeping on my mom's couch. I'm broke as hell. I was transferring to U of H thinking I'm gonna become a senior, finish for a year, and then get on and start making it happen. Now I'm a freshman, so everything I did football-wise, school-wise is completely wasted. And I'm like, what in the hell do I do? All right? So to backtrack, the one thing that I did in New York is I started studying the best minds from every single industry. And I noticed a weird trend of everyone that was super successful, what they would do is they were avid readers. And this is even in the music industry, and the sports industry, and business, and all different sectors, they were readers. And I was like, man, I'm ADHD, I can't sit still. So what I did is, because my environment was so toxic, I'd go to Barnes & Noble and I'd sit there and read for 2 to 3 hours alone in a coffee shop. And I couldn't afford to buy all the books, so I would just take them from the bookshelf, sit there in the coffee shop, read them, just put them back when I'm done. And all I'd do is I'd look on there and go, what am I interested in? And I would just read 15 pages and I would take a break. Because I couldn't sit still, I was freaking all over the place. I was like, well, you know what? Read 15, then I'd get on my phone, then I'd relax, then I'd do something. Call someone, do whatever, keep doing it. And it started compounding and compounding to the point where I got back to Houston, I felt like a completely different person. Opportunities started happening, I was confident, I was focused. And while all those things were happening, all those horrible things, I was actually really not freaking out. I was actually pretty poised and ready to go. And I realized while I was Ubering around Houston, trying to figure out what the heck to do, I remember when I played football in California, everywhere I went, someone was talking about solar. That was a thing. It's hey, and you make a lot of money in solar. It's a good industry, and this, that, and the other. And I go, solar? And I'm Ubering in Houston. This is February of 2018. And I get on my phone, check Indeed. I look for solar companies in Houston. I find 2 or 3. awesome. I apply. 2 weeks later, I interview. I get the job in sales. Okay, so I made a quick turnaround, thank God. And it was an outside sales position, full commission. And according to the job, if you killed it, you could make 6 figures. That was my goal. I got to make 6 figures. Boom, I found a vehicle to get me there. Throughout that time, I worked my way up. And what I noticed is, and this is what's important for y'all, and I'm going to try to get on my story and get to the main thing so I can start talking to you guys like things that y'all can implement. But what I noticed is in life and in football and in school and in even prior jobs, I always got the short end of the stick in every situation. It may not seem like that to y'all now, but if you talk to people that grew up with me, they would tell you just the same way I would. I got screwed in any way you could get screwed. And what I realized is the reason why I did is because me, just like you guys and like every single person in this entire city, they all have some form of talent. They do. But what I realized is that is your biggest weakness. Meaning that like maybe in high school you find out you have a paper last minute, you BS it last minute, boom, or you got to give a speech, you get up last minute, you get up there and you kill it. Why? Because you're that good. There was high school football players that were so good, that didn't have to try, they could wing everything, and they're still the best players. Heck, people like Jamarcus Russell and Johnny Manziel could not care at all in college and be first-round draft picks, and Johnny Manziel win the Heisman. But what happens when you get to the NFL, everyone's good. Everyone's motivated. Everyone is smart. It's about the people who plan every single step and know every single potential way that you could go. Meaning, if you go here at this moment, what are the multiple possible scenarios that can happen? If that happens, what am I gonna do next? If I take this job and I wanna get promoted, how do I get to that point? Who's gonna not want me to be there? How do I move up? Who do I need to befriend? Who do I need to watch out for? Who doesn't like me for no reason? Why don't they like me? So instead, I realized I was winging my way through life, and I worked so hard, but I worked hard at a bunch of random things. So I got a bunch of random scenarios that didn't make sense. And the guy that was calculated, who may or may not have been better, it doesn't matter, would always beat me. And so when I started studying and implementing this, I then plotted my exact process. 1, how I'm gonna get to the money I need to make, 6 figures. Then I'm gonna move to downtown and do this. Then I'm gonna move up and do this. Then everything that's happening now is planned and scripted. I knew it was gonna happen because I had a process to get me there. You're not gonna wake up and feel like $1 million every day. In fact, depending on what you do, many days it's gonna suck until you fix it and get in a better situation. But because I follow a process, now I'm not worrying about what to do this. I can just go play. I'm not worried about my playbook. I'm focusing on playing the game. Does that make sense? And so I plotted how I was going to first become a regional sales manager. My goal is to be the youngest one ever. And I plotted exactly how to do that, and there's stuff out there where I've talked about this, and I want to save on time. But I figured out how to get close to the regional manager, befriend the director, win the CEO over, get the job. Got promoted from RSM to director, figured out how to do that. Then figured out how to win the CEO and win the leadership of the company over for them to go, Grant, we want to give you 10% equity. We want you to be president of the company. I was only 24 then. But I did not do that. I wish I could tell you guys I was just that talented. I got screwed and ate up my whole life. I just finally got tired of the shit. And I wanted to do something different. I had to figure it out. And it worked, right? So along that process, the company I was working for, there was a lot of issues that I didn't like, and I'm not going to bash them because everyone has their ups and downs in every company. It doesn't matter, but there's some ethical stuff. There was maybe the way it was ran wasn't great, and if I believed in it, I would have been there right now, but I didn't. And we were in November of 2017. And this is the first step I'm going to tell you guys on how to get to where you want to go, all right? And this is not for everyone. I'm just going to tell you guys how I did it. And if you can plug it into your life, great. And if you can't, there's a million other ways to do it, okay? So there's a book called Think and Grow Rich, right? And there's another book called 48 Laws of Power. I would recommend both of them, all right? What you the way that you think every single day is so important, because we have, I forget how many, tens of thousands of thoughts every single day. You have to control it. And if you can understand energy and you can understand the way people think and why people do what they do, you have the cheat code to life. It's that simple. So what I would do is I would talk like a crazy person, literally like a crazy person. I would go, yeah, well, next year, you know, when I do this and I'm making X number of dollars and I'm running this and when I do this, well, you know, I'll do it. So my friends and family knew I would just say these crazy things to them. So I remember in November of that year, it was about to be Thanksgiving. I'm at this company where they're about to offer me to run the thing. But the company has massive issues. I'm stressed as could be. And I actually visited my dad's house and I go, you know, Dad, I had a goal. I had to have this much money and make this and do this by 25. And if I don't do it, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen, but I got a feeling I'm going to do it. And it's going to happen by this and this and this, and this will happen and this will happen and this will happen. It will. I'm positive. And what I was doing is everywhere I was going, I was walking, talking, acting, and thinking like these things were going to happen. But that wasn't it. I was also doing the processes that, as I was thinking like that, I was following processes that would get me there. So I always said, like, I was a CEO a year before I was an actual CEO. I looked like one, I dressed like one, I talked like one, and I communicated like one. And that's how you become one. Next thing you know, after I started doing that, I started rereading the book, and I would listen to Think and Rich over like a crazy person every single day, and would be learning things every single day. I was plotting every move every single day. All of a sudden, this idea popped in my head, this opportunity. I would walk in, and I remember the day it happened, when my energy was right, when everything was right. I remember this exact moment because I could feel it. I was meeting friends to go grab a drink in Houston. It was Friday. And I walked in this bar, and I'm not a big partier or anything like that. I like having fun for sure and traveling and stuff like that. But I walked in, I'm meeting friends, and people just started treating me differently. Next thing you know, this one guy who knew someone that was super wealthy goes, hey, Grant, I heard you're in this and solar and this. Come talk to me. Let me go buy you a drink. Hey, we need this and we need this and this. Is this something you guys could do? And he starts talking to me like I'm some big time. And I was doing good, to be fair, but I just it felt different. I was like, it felt different. And then this happened, and then this happened. And then right after that, the CEO calls, hey, we want to offer you 10%. I want you to run the company. You think you can do it? Okay, I'm coming to Houston. We're going to meet. And I'm like, what the hell? So this isn't before I'm thinking I'm going to start MittGroup, right? Then I'm thinking, okay, what if I started this online? What if I did this? What if this? So many opportunities, guys, were coming my way because I was what I was becoming before I got it. But I was following the process to get there. Then I get another call and then another call. And then it aligns to where, like, what if I started my own company, like SolarWise? What if I did? And I felt like I had a lot of respect to the company. I felt like I had great respect from people and good relationships, but you just never know. You know what I mean? If someone's your boss, I mean, people can play the game. You think people like you. You think people maybe respect you, but you just don't know. You don't know. Heck, I heard no matter what, there's a scale, 25% of people will like you no matter what you do. The other 25% will like you but can be persuaded not to like you. The next one won't like you and could be persuaded to like you. And the last one, no matter what you do, you buy them a Mercedes, they're going to go, this asshole, I want a BMW. And they're never going to do it. So you just never know. And I thought I could do this, and I thought this and other. And so what I did is I called one of my best sales reps in Houston. And I said, hey, this is crazy, and this is all hypothetical. But man, if I started a company, would you come with me? Like, would you be a part of it? And before I could finish the sentence, he goes, I go yesterday. I'm here because of you, not the company. Screw this company. I don't give a. I made $10,000 this month because of you. And I was like, what? I was like, really? And I was not expecting that. I swear on my life. I was thinking like, you know, if it made sense. I was expecting one of those things. Like, I don't want to tell you no, but no, dude, I'm not coming with you. You think I'm crazy? I got kids. You know, that's what I was expecting. And I was like, oh, damn. Well, he's like, dude, let me know. Let me know. I was like, damn, why is he so excited about this? You know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, well, maybe it was just one person. So I'm like, I'm going to call this guy that I'm kind of on the fence about. Called him. said the exact same thing. Called another person, said the same thing. And I was like, holy shit, maybe I can do this. I was like, maybe I'm better than I thought. Because you don't know. You don't know. You know what I'm saying? And next thing you know, I put together everything. I work all these deals. I do it. And I pull the trigger and do it. As this is happening, the biggest pandemic in world history is now starting. And I'm like, well, this is just even great. This is better. I finally find all these signs from whatever, and now we got the biggest pandemic ever. And I remember when I was debating, because basically my thought process was, I'm going to set this up, I'm going to be ready to go, and I'm either going to run that company I was at, or I'm going to go out on my own. And I reached out to a few business owners that I knew. One was killing it, a couple others, multimillionaires, and then a couple other people that I respected. I asked about 6 people. I think 5 told me to stay at the company, take the equity, and do it. All 5. And I was talking to a few, I think it was 1 or 2 that said to do it. And I said, you know, something in my gut tells me to do it. Something in my gut. And they said, well, you should do it. I told them everything. I was like, okay. And my thought process was like, look, I've been in the solar industry for a couple years. I've done well. I've prepared for this, and I have a year of savings if I just become a bum and make $0 for a year, which I didn't think was going to happen, right? And what I realized was like, you know what? 5 years from now, I'll be fine. I'm going to do good. I'm a hard worker, just like you guys will. The worst thing could ever happen to you guys, and y'all will be fine because you're fighters, you're good communicators, you're hard workers, and you're good people. You're going to be fine. You're not going to miss a meal. Like, things are going to be fine, I promise. On the worst. And I realized, I was like, you know what? Let's say I'm horrible. And the second I start the company, everyone that comes to work for us goes, I just cuss them out, tell them they're horrible, and they say, screw you, Grant, and quit. What would happen? I plotted everything would happen if that happened. What if I did it for 3 months, and then everyone just quit, and the whole thing blew up? What would I do? And I went through every worst case scenario and realized even if I had to shut it down, I could go get a job at any solar company in 3 weeks, literally. And if I didn't, I could probably figure out in 3 months. I could figure out something. Heck, there was people living off unemployment for like years, living like kings. It's not a bad deal. You know what I mean? I'm just kidding. But my point is that I would be all right. And so I thought, you know what? I don't want to be 35. I don't want to be 30. I want to be 40 and go, damn, I should have took my opportunity when I could. I didn't want to be that guy. So I thought, you know what? Like, screw it. Let's do it. Right? So I pulled the trigger. We get it started. And I implemented all these different processes because I learned from the mistakes of the other company. Next thing you know, we start growing. Started 3, 4 people. 4 to 5 months later, we have like 20 sales reps. We have not ran one ad on LinkedIn, on Indeed, on anything. It was all self-recruited, not by me. I wish I could tell you guys I was just snatching people, telling them at gas station. No. What happened is our sales reps were so happy that they were like, hey, dude, you need to come work here. I'm going to try to get you an interview. And we just started growing organically. And I was like, oh my gosh, we might be onto something. We might be onto something. Like, we're doing things the right way. And what I realized into my first year is we did great. I think we did like 5.7 million in sales, which is solid. But I was a great leader, and I was not an amazing CEO. Meaning, I wasn't doing like just messing up in a disaster. I did a good job, but I realized I wasn't as good of an operator as I thought. I was a really good leader. And when you have a company or you're working for a company, or you're working for yourself in a single venture, everyone can live off the enthusiasm of the first 3 to 6 months. You can get through it. But eventually that honeymoon stage ends and you need to execute. And you have to have processes and you have to have systems. And slowly what I did is, like the same broke kid that lived in the shoebox that didn't know what the hell was going on in his life, that was reading every day tirelessly to find an answer, I was still acting and treating myself and my teams that same way. So we didn't start making this and I'm like, shit, I'm good. Like, I'm going on vacation, I'm chilling. Like, no, I was in fear mode still, thinking like, I gotta get better, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, 24/7, and it never ends. And everyone's looking for the land of comfort. And let me just break it to you, unless you guys find it, there's no such thing. And most of the time when you do get comfortable, you know, like most people after they retire, they die pretty quickly because the engine stops running. And you become addicted to uncomfort, and you just get better every single day. And then slowly you wake up and you're like, damn, my team's kind of good. Damn, these guys are pretty damn good. How in the hell did this happen? And you do that by doing the little things right every single day. And then, you know, that year we got best places to work, which is great. And then, you know, next year, I'm like, all of a sudden, everything's going great. I'm like, we got to scale. We got to go to Austin. We got to go to Dallas. We got to go to all these markets. I hire too fast. I break my rules. Winter and solar is tough. We go negative 150,000 in cash flow. Negative 150,000 in cash flow. Okay? So that's a gut punch, first off. But it was the most beautiful thing that could have ever happened. So, I mean, I would be half of the CEO, we'd be half the company if I did not go through that then. Because if I went through it 2 years ago, or excuse me, 2 years from now, it would have been millions in negative cash flow. I needed to learn it then. Within 2 weeks, cut 8 people, reorganized the way we did things, implemented multiple strategies and processes to eliminate all the issues that caused that. And within that next quarter, we broke our record. The next quarter, we broke that record. And Q3, we did, just in Q3 alone, almost $4 million in sales. And by Q3, we were already 30% more in revenue from last year, because I learned from that quick mistake. But you do this by being calculated, processed, and by learning that anybody and everybody is 2 weeks away from losing it all. You're not that good, and I know as sure as hell I'm not. I definitely know I'm not. Y'all are probably a hell of a lot better than me. And that constant, the best leaders and the best business people kind of have a constant paranoia to them. Not in a toxic way, not in a super negative way, but they kind of have this ghost that they're always chasing, and it never ends. And you guys will slowly realize that that's a beautiful thing, because you're always developing, right? There's a quote I read, if not I may mess it up, but it said, no man steps in the same river, for he is not the same man, and the river is not the same river. Like, everything changes. And you have to realize that the times are constantly changing. The people who you work around and for you or at your company, their lives are always changing. The person that you're managing last month just had his first son, just had his first daughter. His priority was work, now it's his daughter. Your manager's having the best thing ever, his mom dies. It's never gonna be the same. If you can't handle the small problems, and you guys may already been through hell and back 10 times more than me. If you can't handle those things, look yourself in the mirror and go, man, do I really want to make it happen on that grand scale of things? And it's the one thing I tell myself 1,000,000 times a month, is when something I think gets stressful, one, I'm being developed, because if I was that good, I wouldn't be stressed about it. Heck, it wouldn't even be a problem. You see what I'm saying? That negative 150 cash flow, whatever thing, it was sure as hell uncomfortable, right? But if I was so good, that would have never happened. Now, I'm not going to do that, knock on wood, but you have to learn from it and develop it. So don't want anything bigger. Don't want to get promoted. Don't want to own the business. Don't want to become a vice president. Don't want to become successful unless you're willing to handle. Great leaders, great business people, whether it's a country, a company, a team, an organization, a school, they don't get paid the big bucks to be right all the time. They get paid the big bucks to make decisions that other people won't make. See what I'm saying? And what I would recommend for you guys, and that's a brief part of my story, and I'm doing other things and we can talk about that later, but first step you got to do is you got to figure out what type of actual life you want to do. Don't worry about what your dad, mom, brother, cousin, U of H, anybody here, heck, even me, says on where you should go next. Just first, you need to look yourself in the mirror and it's like, what actually makes me happy? For example, I like to be able to travel whenever. Like for me, happiness and success is I'm right here and I'm like, you know what? I want to go to New York. And I literally go to Bush Intercontinental. I'm booking the flight while I'm on there, park the car, boom, I'm gone. That makes me happy. I want to be able to go to a restaurant and I don't want to go, that's $27, that's a lot. We'll get this. Do you want to split something? Yeah, I'll split something. I don't want that. I was sick and tired of going to the gas station and going, yeah, I'll put 20 on pump 14. That makes me just want to like throw up on myself. It's stressful. It irritates me. You know what I mean? I want to be able to help other people. That's what makes me happy. That's me. You guys, it's something different. Maybe similar. So what I did is I had to design a lifestyle and career around what makes me happy. You see what I'm saying? Even if I made triple what I made now, and I was working 9 to 5, and no matter what, I had to be in that cubicle from those times, I would freaking hate my life. I would be in the wrong vehicle. So first step, figure out what lifestyle you want to go. You guys are a hell of a lot smarter than me. Y'all are actually going to finish U of H. But y'all reverse engineer that process, meaning, okay, I want this lifestyle. What are the sectors, careers, jobs, and businesses that can produce that lifestyle? Before you think about what you're so passionate about and whatever, you got to actually live it. You got to be careful what you ask for because you just might get it, and it may not be what you want. So first, figure out where the lifestyle is, reverse engineer it, okay? Then dissect and plot. Don't wish. If you're wishing, hoping, oh man, you're already dead, dude. It ain't gonna happen. You know, you might as well just throw up a half-court shot, hope you make it, hope y'all win. Throw up a Hail Mary. It's no different. Have a strategy on how to actually get into that sector, how to get that job, how to start that business, how to do those things. It's not just going to happen. I don't give a shit how good you are. And if you're good and you're so good that there's people that are so good that they're gonna make 6 figures no matter what without trying, being lazy. May not do it for $1 million. You're gonna find your cap limit. You're gonna find your ceiling. And at some point you have to out-strategize and become better or delegate or find someone that's better than you and use them as a resource. But that's my point is this does not happen. It is very, very hard. But if you want your life to get better, if you want to make more money, you want to do better, it's simple. Wherever the hell you're currently at is because of who you actually are, how well you communicate, how well you know the skills and trades that you do right now, and ultimately the decisions you made or allowed others to make for you. It's that simple. So if you want better shit, you need to make better decisions and you need to be better. You need to communicate better, you need to look better, you need to dress better, you need to carry yourself better. Because this doesn't just happen. Because every single person that's walking out there, they all want similar things. They want to be happy, they want to be fed, they want to be successful, they want to do something, they want to do what's beneficial for their families. So, figure out what you want, create and build something or be a part of an organization where you helping those people also helps yourself and your organization. If you can find a way to make other people lots of money, you'll never miss a meal. In fact, you might have so many meals you don't even know what to do. Just add value to people's lives. And what made those guys go, you know what? This freaking crazy 23 or 20, I was 24 I guess when I started. This crazy 24-year-old, the reason why they followed me was not because I was just so this or so that. It was because I was so obsessed with making sure they're successful because they had kids and they had wives and they had issues and parents to take care of. I wouldn't sleep making sure that they're successful. So why wouldn't they follow me? They became successful. It wasn't because I was good, but because I was obsessed with making them good. You see what I'm saying? And that's how you implement your life, all right? So figure out the life you want to create, reverse engineer it, okay? After that, You have to do what's the most important thing that I think most people, including myself, I already did mess up, and luckily I pivoted quickly, mess up on. And this is what I call choosing the wrong vehicle. Choosing the wrong vehicle. Okay, for example, if me and Shazi are racing, I'm the best NASCAR race car driver ever. She's pretty good. She's getting there, okay? But Shazi goes out and goes, you know what, I'm going to get a Ferrari, 488 Ferrari. And all I have is a Chevy Malibu. No matter how talented I am, I'm getting dusted. I'm going to get beat, okay? And most people don't succeed because of their talent, but they succeed because they joined a race, they got in NASCAR, and they picked a Chevy Malibu to get them there. And even if they're the best driver of the Chevy Malibu ever, you can still only go so far in the Chevy Malibu. See what I'm saying? So whatever you want to do, like I said, after you reverse engineer it, you have to pick the vehicle that's going to get you there. Where if you're the top person in the industry, you're the top person of the market, you're the top person in the company, your cap limit, the money that you can potentially make is here, which can work towards the lifestyle or whatever that you're trying to create. Does that make sense? It's pretty simple, right? Keep things third grade level, okay? The simple part is how to do it. The hard part's actually doing it, okay? So once you've picked your vehicle, meaning, okay, I need to get this vehicle to get me there. Now you strategize how to get that vehicle, okay? If you figured out, you found your industry, you found your potential thing, be decisive. Any sense of entitlement that you could potentially have, lose it. Just as a business owner, no one cares what your GPA is. If you put it on there, I'll probably be more annoyed than anything because it just means nothing to me. I care about your experience. What can you actually do? What can you actually do? I want people to succeed, but at the end of the day, I'm running a business, and I'm a few bad hires from affecting a lot of people's lives. I'm fine. I slept on a couch for a year. How I'll do it again, I don't really care. I'll be fine. You can throw me in the jungle, I'll come out, I'll have a nice little tree house or something. I'll figure it out. But I have people's lives to consider, who have kids, who have families, who have sick parents, all that stuff. I have to hire and build teams of people who are gonna impact the business and other people in the organization positively. So when you're trying to get in that vehicle, start that vehicle, do whatever you wanna do, make sure that you are displaying and you look, you walk, you talk, you act, your resume looks like the person that does drive that vehicle. So go back to what I was talking about when the moment I realized, oh my God, I'm on to something. Something's about to happen. When I walked in that bar and the people kind of started treating me differently, and then this happened and that happened and that happened, it was because I finally became the person that was able to drive that vehicle. See what I'm saying? They didn't just go, oh, I feel like being nice. No, wasn't that. It's because I aligned with that vehicle, so everyone that was at that level now saw me as an equal. And I started getting treated like one. I started getting opportunities, and now I'm just a player in the game. Now I gotta go play. Now I gotta execute. Does that make sense? So you become the person to fit the vehicle. You're gonna have engine problems. You're gonna have issues with your tires. You're gonna have oil changes. But I sure as hell would rather have an oil change in a Lamborghini than a Ford Focus. Some of you guys want something else. But I'd rather have the $1,400 oil change in the Lamborghini. I would much rather have a $150,000 cash flow issue than a $5,000 cash issue. Because if negative 150s are bad, disaster, let's freak out moment, what's our good one? I always look forward to the day that I can finally lose $1 million in a day. Because if that's my red day, what is my good day? See what I'm saying? And that's how you have to think. You guys have to, whatever you want to do, you got to find people that challenge your thinking, that make you realize respectfully that you ain't shit. And every day I find and look for people to remind myself that I suck. It's such a beautiful moment because you realize how much you need to develop. You're still confident in yourself. You still think you can walk into any room, but you realize how good you really gotta be to really execute and kick ass in the world. Because everyone is in some form, there are great people. But people at the end of the day, whether they're good people or they're bad people, I promise you that they want to eat and they want to be able to pay their rent and they want to be able to support their kids. And when you realize that, everyone is typically going to do what interests them. So if you can align businesses, systems, and things that support and benefit those people, you will be rewarded for it. Money is a transfer of value. You need something, you want something, you exchange money for that value. That person's time, those tires, the whatever, U of H. You want to meet the knowledge, you want to get the knowledge, you want to get the connections, whatever it is. So you're going to spend that money to come here. Or spend those hours to get the scholarship to come here. And then you're going to pay gas to get here every day when you can't work as much because you're coming here. You're exchanging it for some form of value you hope you're going to get. Same thing with life, all right? Lastly, is when you start getting to a new level, each new mountain has a whole set of problems. If you do not know how to solve problems, you will not ever be successful. It's that simple. Or you will have a job so small that there's really no problems at all and you will get paid as such. Okay, for example, McDonald's can find someone to flip burgers very quickly, but someone who can code on a level that very few people can do, that can run all of Facebook's data and everything on the highest form, that is a smaller group of people that you can find and get to do that job, right? There's few people that can organize and manage thousands and thousands of people and direct capital of millions of dollars and make decisions that change every single person's life. There's a small amount of people that can do that. So they get paid as such because they're adding that much value into not only all the people that work at the organization, but other companies, their community, their state, their country, whatever. You get paid according to your market value. So for everyone that's in school now, and you guys, like, I saw you walking in and he was like, man, it's been tough trying to figure out what to do next with COVID. Man, I can't imagine. Just realized. I used to live in Post Oak area. During COVID in 2020, I saw more Lamborghinis, Ferraris, and McLarens than I've ever seen before in my life. Somebody is making money and somebody is spending money. I promise you. And it's out there. You got to figure out how to be a person of value, like when I finally realized I'm good enough to drive this car and then everything happened. You guys eliminate the limiting beliefs that go, well, I'm still in school. Well, I didn't get to intern because I was in COVID, and I think it's bullshit. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. They care about how can you impact their business. The customer has no remorse for your feelings. They could care less if you make rent this much, or you get to take your family on vacation you deserve. They could care less. They care about what? Their pockets. So leave your wallet at home and focus on helping them. The people you work around, focus on helping them. Your organization, be significant wherever you're at, and then all of a sudden, things start happening, right? So if I had no job ever, no experience ever, I'm at U of H, my advice to you guys, and U of H may never invite me back for telling you to do this, but I could care less because maybe I'll talk to you guys somewhere else. But I'm going to tell you what worked for me and what works for other people. Is my recommendation is if you truly want to be an entrepreneur or you truly want to be successful in business and you go to school here, my recommendation, I don't know if this is a right, this is just what I did and what I would recommend. I would do as much as possible. Nobody here should be focused on making anything less than $100,000 in a year. I am dead serious when I say this. And if you don't think you're this or that seems like big, that's okay. You have that uncomfortable feeling. Realize you need to think bigger. Realize you need to think bigger. Because if you're thinking that small and you want to be an entrepreneur, you've been fed the wrong information or you're thinking too small. There is no reason, it's going to be hard as hell, why anybody in this room can figure out and delegate and do whatever to pass. As long as you pass and you do good, that's fine. But focus more of your energy not on making sure everything's perfect on school, but making sure you're effective and you're good, and focus more of that energy that you have right now into you, your brand, and your business, into producing capital and getting the most experience possible while you're in school. Okay? And if you're about to graduate, doesn't matter. Nobody cares. Nobody ever looked at my thing, it didn't matter. Nobody, when I'm out and I'm with this or with that, nobody asked me anything because I'm bringing credibility to the table. Who gives a shit? You see what I'm saying? And that's the same thing that you guys will do and can do. Find a way to add value to the businesses that you want to work for, you want to work with today. Don't wait till you graduate to become an entrepreneur or to get into sales or to get into business. Do it today. Hell, everything's online anyways. Delegate, do whatever you got to do. Hell, only do school from 7 o'clock to 12 o'clock at night and be tired as heck all the time. But invest most of your energy now into yourself. Because what helped me get going really quick was because I was 18 years old slinging DirecTV in Walmarts. You see what I mean? And I was running online businesses. I'm in the back of the class and the teacher's screaming at me and I just made $1,000. Because I was hungry and focused. I wasn't better than anybody else. I just focused on it. You see what I'm saying? When I got to U of H, I'm leaving management class. I'm running in late. I got a D. And I just found out I got promoted to regional manager. I'm about to make 6 figures. And I'm almost failing management class because I don't know what the 7 steps of management are. Still pass the class. Still have that credit. I could come back. You know, we could be classmates. But I was doing it in real life. Don't go get a D, do better. Y'all are smarter than me. But my point is, spend this time at U of H. If you really want to be these things like what we're talking about, you may not. That's why I said, take everything I say with a grain of salt. It's up to you to implement, to see if it's right for you. Because it may be right for me and not for you or for someone else. But take this time as an opportunity that you don't have much to lose. You could fail 12 times and you're still going to probably be all right, right? And then you just might figure it out just like I did. See what I'm saying? It worked for me because I was willing to fail so many times and I was willing to bet on myself. And I always realized that I'm not that good. Therefore, I have to do more. I have to work harder. I have to out-execute. I have to out-think my competition. And never always doing that and feeling like nothing's ever going to work out, you finally wake up one day and you go, damn, how did this happen? Because of what I'm talking about.